Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. And we actually have a full house today, although we only have four squares because we have two and one. But this is the Week 16 preview of Jungle Talk. Yeah, all right.
Right.
Who day?
Hooray.
All right. So here we go. Before we get started, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Support the channel. Hit the thumbs up on the YouTube. Helps us out with the analytics. Bang that bell so you know when our videos go up. And Jake, tell them where they can find all your stuff.
We have an episode now. Wait, hang on.
Do.
Is this better?
Yes.
We have an episode now. Sunday. Jake Circus podcast on Spotify. Just posted one yesterday actually. We'll do another one this weekend. College football playoff, loaded NFL. I think we went 2-0 on the show, Mark. I think I gave out Bills and Dayton.
Yes, Dayton. Dayton was a big winner. Thank you. And they were down at half, so I pounded it at half, and then they came back and just dominated. And I was like, "There's my Jake's pick. There it is." I text you right away and give you props as soon as because I'm watching the game. So yes, Dayton, you went 2-0. Thank you.
And he's happy because that's one of the 12 schools that he roots for.
Yeah.
From me.
So
Actually, I didn't even realize that they were playing until I saw that upset alert.
And that's a typical Ohio fan.
there you go. And Heath was at the what bowl was it last night at SoFi? The with the cow.
Garbage bowl.
There you go. So he was a Cal fan last night. So I'm assuming you were rooting for Cal with since you were in Cal Brethren. So
Yeah, my cousin has been a second string backup, a long snapper for 4 years. He's never played a down. He stuck it out. And the number one went into the transfer portal, so he got his first start last night in the bowl.
there you
That's
go. There you go.
And fortunately for him, he got a lot of snaps last night because there was a lot of punts once that second half came in.
Oh yeah. No.
there's life for long snappers. You stay in that. There's a path to keep playing.
Yep, absolutely. So we know the value of a long snapper better than anybody.
Yeah.
So thinking about the two and
last year.
yeah, the 0-2 start when we couldn't get the ball back to Money Mac in the right timing to make anything. So, all right, we're going to do what we usually do. We're going to preview. We'll go through some news and notes, and then we'll preview this game. Let's talk about the Zach Burrow conversation at the end of the game. That's been the talk of the week, and apparently he was just, he was trying to console him, say, "Hey, win's a win," and Joe doesn't like it, take it like that. He didn't threw two picks. He didn't like the way the offense was playing. So to him, it was not a good thing, and he's emotional. I like that we got.
I thought it was great. Jake and I talked about it yesterday. Did you guys happen to see John Boy breaking the whole thing down with the lip reading?
No.
No.
So it was really cool. Basically, it was right after they scored the touchdown, the rushing touchdown to go up 37-21. And, everybody's happy. Game's iced. And in typical Burrow fashion, as you said, he's not happy. He's not satisfied. Zach comes over. And Burrow was basically saying, it's fucking embarrassing. He was torn on if he said, we're still fucking 6-8, or we should have beat these guys by fucking 80. It was one of those two most likely.
Okay.
And then John Boy went back and tried to figure out what exactly it was that pissed Joe off. And it was they had first and goal at the 1, and they had a procedure penalty, a delay game penalty. They were backed up first and goal from the 11. And we've talked about it before. The Bengals are one of the least penalized teams in the league. And Sunday they had, I think it was 14-15, and then combined with all the turnovers, he was fucking pissed. And I thought it was great. And we've been obviously very critical of Zach and how happy-go-lucky and dopey his facial reactions are.
Yeah.
Zach's the eternal optimist, and Joe is the ultimate perfectionist. And I thought it was just a combination of those two. And yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah. No, I like a guy who, I mean, realistically, our playoff chances are slim. I mean, at best. And he, some people would check out, and Joe just gets pissed. I mean, he gets more focused. It makes him want to win more. So
I think he's playing for his two buddies to get their contracts at some point. right? I mean,
Oh, 100%. We've
100%.
talked about it ad nauseum on the show. Jake brought it up, what, 7 or 8 weeks ago. Hey, they should spend their money on offense. And now, now it looks. I'm just hoping it happens that we get T and Chase back. Did the just a side. If in 47 snaps, Mims will have had more snaps with the Bengals than he did his entire college career. I mean, I didn't realize he had that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it was injuries and stuff. But no, there you have it. Yeah, it should happen this week. It's
Yeah.
not this week, next week.
Yeah.
But
Remember,
yeah,
we talked about it around draft time, Mark. He had all the tools. Obviously, Bengals took him in the middle
yeah,
of the first round, and by no accounts was it an overshoot. Had he gone back for his his senior year and stayed healthy, he would have been a top 5 pick, is what the pundits were saying.
yeah.
got him
So
at 10, didn't we?
What's that?
Didn't we get him at 10? Was it 10?
Oh, it was like 17 or 18.
yeah, we were back there.
Oh, if we
So
had 10, all the talk was Bowers.
so yeah. So boy, he's had a great rookie year too. The one positive for the Raiders, and then Denver was flexed. Our Denver game was flexed to Saturday. So we'll be playing Saturday. So that tells me the league is definitely thinking we're going to win this week because they're banking on that being a relevant game. Otherwise, the Bengals are playing spoiler next week. So let's see how that plays out. And then
Well, you know that they're gonna try
so
because they never give up.
no. So and
Which
that's
ties in. We're recording this on Thursday, and Mark, you post these right away, so it'll be up. Tonight's a big game. Tonight is a very, very big game if you're still counting on the Bengals playoff chances. If the Bengals cannot be eliminated either way tonight,
right.
because they need the Broncos or the Chargers to lose out. The Chargers are not losing out. They play the Pats and the Raiders.
Right.
But if Denver loses, if Denver loses tonight and they're a dog on the road to the Chargers, we play them, and then they play Kansas City, which ties into Kansas City needing to care in Week 18. But tonight's a big game for those of you that are still looking at Bengals playoff chances.
Yeah. So I feel guilty, because we win and we damage our draft position, but I also don't, I want this team to want to win. I don't want this team to be somebody who's complacent with losses and, hey, all right, pack it up. So it's a teeter-totter for me emotionally, But
And we've talked about this the last couple of years, and I'll say it again, and I'm going to reference the Tyler Boyd game against Miami that got us Burrow. You don't tank in the NFL. Coaches lie. Coaches' job cycle, whatever the term you want to call it is, they're too short. Players'
right.
value to make their money, it's too short. You don't see tanking in the NFL. NBA, it's prevalent. The only time you see tanking, if you want to call it that, in the NFL is personnel decisions. We're going to get into it. The Browns benching. DTR does not give the Browns a better chance to win. This is try and get into the top 5 to try and draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. That's the Browns upper management tanking.
Right. Well, and that's how it's done in the NBA. You rest players. Golden State goes into Chicago for the one game they had that year, and they rest, Steph and a bunch of people. And the NBA's got issues with that because you'll buy your tickets if you're a Warriors fan, you live in Chicago, you buy your seats. I'm going to go see Steph Curry, and then Steph Curry doesn't even make the trip because they don't want to win the game. So it's just like I said, that's the thing. That's the only way you can tank is benching people because the guys on the field are going to try. In the NBA, the bench goes in there and they're trying to score. They all want stats. That's the personal selfishness.
The Bengals benching Andy Dalton on his birthday 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
it was tanking.
Yeah. So, but all right, yeah. And then I don't know. Does anybody have any other news and notes? That's pretty much what I had in terms of the week in news.
I have one.
Go for it.
Looking at the injury report, it seems like Sheldon Rankins gave Chris Jenkins whatever he has because Jenkins also popped up on the injury report yesterday with an illness.
Yes. So, I actually thought my next thing that I had, and I was saving it says our injury report is my biggest concern about this game. And that's exactly so you segue right into it. Yeah, we actually have three
What-
guys on the report with illness.
Can I throw one more thing on news and notes before we
Sure, go
segue
for it.
into reports? Because it's big old salute to Sam Hubbard. Let's hope it was his last snap as a Cincinnati Bengal. He caught a touchdown. He has as many receiving touchdowns as Deebo Samuel this year.
Right.
But he's done for the year, PCL. And, not going out the way he wanted this year wasn't good for him, but he was a true Bengal, a true warrior. Absolutely love him. He's going to be revered. He'll have his name up in the Ring of Honor in a couple of years. And let's hope we're moving on and we'll never see him in a Bengal uniform again.
You know what? If he comes back from injury and he can play, and I don't necessarily close the door. He played this entire season hurt because he didn't want to have the surgery during the season. So, but if he's done, he's done.
Wasn't very good last year.
So, but all right, so
they drafted Miles Murphy to fill that spot, and I know Jake kept saying for a couple years now he's young. At some point, he's getting older, isn't he?
He's still young. He's just not. He just hasn't shown any good.
Year 2, got 3 more.
Yeah. So. But all right, well, yeah, but this illness. So we've got Sheldon Rankins, obviously. I don't know. I heard encephalitis. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But now we have Jenkins with the illness, and we had Cody Ford, but he practiced, so that's a different illness. But yeah, I don't know what's going on in that defensive line room. So if you think
encephalitis, we just looked up encephalitis. Devin and I couldn't figure out what it was last time. That's no joke. It's an inflammation in the brain.
Yeah, it's like I said. That's what I read it on either Twitter or Facebook. Somebody threw that out there that's what they heard what it was. I have no idea. The Bengals have not come out. Jake, have they come out and said what Rankins has? No.
Oh, it's been pretty closed wraps.
Yeah, that's HIPAA stuff. They can't. Unless the player wants to release it. But that's my biggest concern is the injury report. Is our injury report. So. You had Kappa. What's the deal in concussion? Is he going to clear and play?
Matt Lee time.
Yes, Matt Lee time. I don't know why Kappa would play. He's been awful this year.
Yeah, but still, listen, linemen are you only have so many of these big guys, and
they loved Matt Lee in training camp. He had some great reps at center. They view him as a potential guard. Put him out there. See what he's doing.
Right. There you go. So, in terms of here's some positive stuff that I'll put out there. We're averaging over 27 points in the last 6 weeks in a row, 27 or more. The Browns have allowed three or more touchdowns in 6 of their last 7 games. Okay, the only game they didn't allow 3 touchdowns was the snow game, the snow globe game against Pittsburgh. Okay, and and the Browns are 12th in pass defense, but they've kind of tapered off. I mean, they've given up 20 TDs, 16 have come in the last 9 games. So they started out the year with a better pass defense. I mean, all this plays into the Bengals. The last one I'll throw out there, that Cleveland is 23rd in run defense, but the same kind of thing. 19 TDs allowed, but 11 were in the last 7 games. So this defense is definitely tapered off. All that plays, we're clicking on all cylinders offensively, other than last week with Burrow's 2 picks. So what do you guys got? I mean, I feel pretty good. There's no reason to think that the Bengals aren't going to put up 30 this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's also about who they're going up against. I mean, DTR, I was doing a deep dive yesterday into it. Watson was like 29th out of 33 qualifying quarterbacks last year. In the small sample of DTR would have been 33rd. And same thing this year, as bad as Jameis was, the sample that we've had from DTR has been worse than Jameis. So if all the quarterbacks that have played for the Browns the last few years, except for Flacco, have been, bottom of the league. DTR has been the worst of all of them. And the Bengals defense has actually seen him this year because when the original Watson injury got hurt, right, DTR came in relief in that game. That was not Jameis. That was DTR through a couple of interceptions. So this is not at any stretch a even below average quarterback. So certainly some advantages for the Bengals defense and an offensive line that's been really bad for Cleveland all year.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, we talked about how we were worried if Watson went down and they brought Winston in. Okay.
Yep.
Winston, I mean, he kind of gets on a roll. I was more concerned seeing him this week because if he gets on a roll, he kind of gets momentum and gets confidence and then gets bolder. And we're the kind of defense that he can throw up 4 touchdowns on. So if he gets on that kind of tear, and I don't have that feeling with DTR, I don't worry about
Well,
that. So,
Winston gets on a roll one way or the other. He either
yeah.
throws 2
Well,
touchdowns or
yeah.
2 receptions every game.
Yeah, he completes them, but he completes them to other people. So, um, like I said, DTR is definitely it. That's definitely the sign of tanking, and yeah, we have no reason to lose this game
Yeah,
this week.
DTR is really bad. And Mark, you said exactly what I was going to say. We joked about it when we did our preview before the last Cleveland game. God forbid Watson goes down. I'm worried about seeing Winston. And I think we were texting when they brought in DTR. We're like, this is great, and he
Yeah,
was awful. He's really, really bad. I heard this morning some other geek metrics where he ranks like 60th out of 62 qualified quarterbacks on something. I don't know what it was, but he's terrible. Cedric Tillman is a very good wide receiver. He's been out for 3 weeks. I don't know if he's going to play. And
he's still
Njoku's like,
listed as concussion,
yeah, yeah.
so I don't know
Njoku's
if he plays.
probably out. Judy has been great the last couple of weeks. Got to keep an eye on him, but unless he's going underneath, and Judy's not an underneath guy. DTR cannot throw the ball
No.
deep. Elijah Moore is an underneath guy. I don't worry about any of these guys. Chubb's out. Jerome Ford can't run the ball behind this offensive line. He'll be more of a threat catching passes. He'll probably get a bunch of receptions with checkdowns from DTR. But yeah, nothing scares me on this offense.
Yeah, well, and Judy had all of his production under Winston.
Correct.
So, it's he's kind of I know he's taken a big fantasy hit this week. With everybody in their playoffs and whatnot. They've talked about Judy's value dropping
Big
because
time.
Winston's leaving the field.
Njoku as well. Winston loved Njoku.
So what do you got, Jake Riley? What do you got? Anything?
I was looking at something yesterday with the Browns. They have 3 receivers next year that are under contract that have at least 15 NFL catches, and one of them is David Bell.
He's still in the league. I thought he was cut.
No,
That's the Purdue guy.
He's been on IR all year.
Purdue. That's the Purdue guy, right?
Yeah,
First round draft pick, I think.
third.
Maybe second. Oh, really? Okay. Jake, what about their D? Obviously, Myles Garrett's still there. What about the line and the secondary? It used to be really, really good. What's left of it?
I mean, it's all still there, but again, like I say this all the time, you look at what the Jets have done on defense this year. It's been up and down. But again, those were the 2 best defenses by far in the league last year. They didn't lose a lot. They kind of retooled a little bit, but it's really hard to keep an elite defense for 3 or 4 years. It's not like you have the same quarterback, you have the same guy calling plays. There's much more of a continuity aspect on the offense to keep a good offense together, and and the Browns are experiencing that too. It's just guys aren't having as good of seasons. Guys are getting older. Guys are getting hurt. It's very hard to keep a defense elite for a long period of time, and the Browns are probably going to make a lot of adjustments in that area this offseason. But yeah, like you said, the guys are still there. I mean, they still obviously they don't have their pass rush has taken a small hit since losing Zadarius Smith. They were number one in pressure rate and
Right.
sacks.
Right.
Up until the Zadarius Smith trade, he's gone now, so they don't really have anybody that's taken that spot. But again, Myles Garrett is still there, so
Right.
it's not like it's Pittsburgh week and they got Highsmith and Herbig behind Hayward and Watt, and it's just like a bunch of guys coming in your face. But with Cleveland, they still got Miles and very talented players, and also Jock isn't he's out for the year, so that's a big deal. Owusu Korma.
Yeah, but we'll have Devin Corcoran blocking Myles Garrett, just the way we drew it up in the preseason.
Heath, what were you gonna say?
Say it's never easy to keep competing at a high level when you're losing either. They may not be tanking, but it's not easy to compete every single week, when you've got very little chance of winning. I know it's the NFL and anything could happen, but still.
Absolutely.
With all that said, go ahead, Brother. You were gonna say something?
I mean, mostly just their injury report. It's just as riddled with questionable as we are. I mean, half of their team is questionable. I mean, it's kind of what happens at the end of the season when you have 3 wins. The guys are going to play if they want to play. If they don't, they say they're hurt and don't practice. I mean, it's kind of expected.
Or you put your number 3 in as your starter, and you try to jockey for manage your draft position. So
Kind of like watching the Cincinnati Reds in September.
there you go. So
That could change this year. Got
so
an Arizona Wildcat at the helm.
yeah. So all right. So we want to just jump into predictions, or I want to remind everybody we historically don't play this team well. Okay, and Burrow doesn't have a lot of wins. He got his first
That's
win
old
in week
news.
7. I know that's old
Oh,
news, but I'm
Manning.
just saying. So we can't go in it going, hey, all we need to do, you're going to fill out your scorecard at the bar, and turn it in. We do have to show up and actually win the game. So, but all indications are, like I said, that we do win this game. So who wants to go first with predictions? Are we to get a prediction out of the Heath Riley square there? I know Riley couldn't get in his own, so he has one. There we go.
Good for it. I want to hear Jake's picks too before we're done with the show, though.
So yeah, I want another Dayton. So actually, there was the money line earlier in the year that was when they beat BYU. He had Kansas, yes.
All over Kansas for a couple.
Who took on the spoiler role very well. So, all right. So, who wants to go first?
Riley will go.
I want to hear from Riley first.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Bengals offense keeps rolling. Browns can't really score. They move the ball a little bit because our defense sucks, but I think it's 31-17. Browns have a bunch of field goals. We split 3-3 field goals and touchdowns. I think we just roll over this team.
Yeah, 31-17.
31-17.
Yeah, that's close to mine. I was 31-20. So, it's so this is kind of a return for Cody Ford, but I don't know that it really is gonna, because he's playing the Browns, but they have their own kicking issues. So it's
Cody York. I'm like, what is
Cody York? That's what I meant. Cody York. Yeah. It's kind of his return.
And isn't it Cade York?
Cade York. There you go. Thank you. Sorry.
You were close.
I was, I had the right initials. Okay.
I mean, both were football players.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, I got the team right. Go for it. So, Jake, what do you have?
I think Bengals roll here. The parts that gave the Bengals trouble, or the parts the Browns have had that always give the Bengals trouble is kind of gone. Bengals played really well in the first game, not as well as they should have, but think they get a much better effort here. I'll go 30-17 Bengals.
30-17. So both you and Jake are right at the or Riley are right at the over under of 48. So you're hanging right around there. All right, Devin, you're up.
Yeah. Herb Street over here doesn't make picks, so I'll wrap us up. Odds makers have this projected score at 27-20. I am also not far off from either one of you. The score that came to me this morning, I think the Bengals roll, cruise. The Browns there's two things that can beat this Bengals team, and it's ability to throw the ball downfield and ability to run the ball. I don't see the Browns being able to do either. Yep. And I've got 31-16 Bengals.
There you go. Well, several of us are at 30 and 31. So we have the Bengals putting up a 30 burger. Put your score in the comments below. Tell us what you're thinking. Are we wrong? Are we not wrong? I mean, put it down there. Let's see it. So, Jake, tell us remind everybody where they can find your stuff.
Jake Circus Podcast on Spotify. We have an episode up right now, still relevant. We went over CFP, gave out a few things for college football playoff stuff. And yeah, we'll have one Sunday night going over NFL, and then the Saturday games. Let's give out. I don't like it. There's nothing really for hoops yet because it's early and the lines aren't up yet. But I am heavily drawn to this under in Tennessee, Ohio State, 46.5.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to give us a program?
Yeah, and NFL this weekend. I like Texans plus 3.5 against Chiefs.
There you go. Okay. So, and the under, I like that. So
they said Mahomes practiced.
yeah, he's full practice, but
The line is based as if Mahomes is going to play.
yes.
Very surprised with a high ankle sprain that he's going to push through this one. But they're
It's
fighting for the number
fake.
one
He
seed.
does this every year at week
He
15.
does this every year. He
Yeah.
has ankle sprain every year in December.
Right. So
I will say though that if the Chiefs lose, it's good for the Bengals.
Very.
Because then the Chiefs, I mean, assuming the Bills win this week and next week, Chiefs will need to play everybody in week 18.
yeah, no, exactly. So who did the Chiefs play after this?
I forget who they play next
Somebody
week.
good.
The Steelers. It's on Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's that Netflix. Hopefully they get better streaming than they did on that boxing match. So hopefully that was a test run. That's the only reason they agreed to the Tyson thing was to do a test run because that streaming was terrible. But I'm sure the NFL has them has them holding them to higher standards. So, all right. Well, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Support the channel. Bang the thumbs up. Helps us out with the analytics. And everybody we'll be back with the recap right after the game. But, I know we're in the holiday season, so be safe, party responsibly. That's the word I was looking for. So, all right. And with that, I'm going to say, hood everybody. Have a good rest of your week.
And bolt up tonight.
There you go. Bolt up.